There we were, 1993, on the Sony MGM lots. Yes, I always called it MGM, even though Sony bought it. Nice thing about being there for Dracula was I was only 2 miles from my front door. Being our day started at 6 in the morning, typical studio time, it was nice having a 5 minute drive to work rather than an hour drive. And it was a full day, but it was good work. Anyway, our model shop was on the second floor, kind of like a loft, and on one of the sound stages that was for the paint department. Paint department was huge, took pretty much the whole sound stage, and we were up above it. But we had our own private entrance from a ramp on the outside of the set. So up there we had Les Ecker ran the shop, obviously myself, Susie Schneider, and Adam Gilbart. Up there, we built the Dracula Castle, which is what we were scheduled to do. I basically was in charge of doing that. I was the sculptor. The art department sent us a piece of artwork that was just one page and one sheet, and it had a profile of their castle as they envisioned it, which was effectively a skeleton, ribcage, skull, head sitting on a throne. And yet it was to look like a castle. Like you've ever seen a castle like that. Whatever. I was being paid to make this thing. So what I did is I made a study model with balsa foam. It was about 12 inches tall, about a 6-inch diameter base. It wasn't very big, but enough to see, is this what you want? And it was approved, so we were able to carry on to the full-size model. By the way, the balsa foam is very interesting. First time I had actually got to play with it. It's a rigid foam, comes in many densities. We had the lightest density, which is the easiest to carve in. It has a very fine texture, much finer than the foams that we usually use that are rigid, but it has no memory. So when you push your nail into it and remove your finger, it doesn't spring back up halfway. We cut foam rings to make the tower. Big sheet of 4x8 balsa foam, cut out squares, cut circles, stack the circles, spackled, put it together. I carved all the foam work into the thing. And once this was all assembled, we took it downstairs to another soundstage, number 43, which was like a cathedral inside. Things huge, 45-foot ceiling in there. What was in there was our mountain. And it was just about 18 feet tall, about 20 feet long, about 6 feet wide. Had to work on really tall ladders to install our castle and then dress it up. We added lots of blocks to kind of add more support to it so it ties into the mountain. We cut lots and lots of balsa foam on a bandsaw and stuck it in, glued them up. Looked pretty good when we were done. It was all unpainted. The painting all went to the set painters that were on staff. We had a big garage door that was open so anybody could see what we were doing in there. This one young man stopped and he sort of looked in. People stop and look. And, big castle, big mountain. And I noticed he was still looking. So I waved him and said, hey, you want to come in and look at this thing? And it's okay. And so he came in. At this point, I think it was Adam said, hey, that's Keanu Reeves. Oh, yes, it is. So he was very excited about seeing our model. And he came in and he climbed the ladders to get a better look at the castle because it was like way over your head. It's like 3 people high. And what was rather delightful, he was so appreciative and interesting and just sort of awed by this model he could see. And it surprised me that, here's a guy that's been in enough films that he's seen a lot more things than I have, and yet he could take such delight and wonder in something that we built. And it was actually rather charming. He was very nice. No big-headed kind of an attitude that some movie stars give you. I did get to see it filmed, and it looked fantastic. So while we were there in December, the holidays came around, Christmas and New Year's. A lot of places just send people home for 2 weeks because they figured they're not going to get much done. Well, much of the movie studio took off for 2 weeks, but we in the model shop still had stuff to do, and I didn't mind making 2 more weeks of a paycheck, so I was fine. We had plenty to do, and as we put that together, I'm not sure what I was working on at the time. Might have been the Hillinghurst Ham house. So what happened is the studio was very quiet, which was kind of nice. It allowed me at lunch to go visit the sets since nobody was in them. The Dracula's tomb set was fascinating. I got to go all through and look at it. It was really interesting. A lot of sculptures, all carved out of foam. Amazing work done in there. And they had this whole room full of impaled bodies, which were really something to look at. One of the fun bits was that, oh, and of course we had the full-size Dracula castle interior sets. Those were amazing to wander through. It'd be difficult for me to go through some of that stuff if they were filming. As long as you wear a tool belt, look like you belong, you can usually get into that stuff. They also had a fascinating set, which was quite large, and it was a place where they could, it was all like an exterior of a mountain, and it was like a big circular ring. And it's where they had their chases. So they had the stagecoach at the end of the film while the guys and the horses are chasing the stagecoach, and Dracula's coffin is in the stagecoach, and people are shooting and falling off the horses. Very exciting. And it was just a big ring with kind of a mountain in the middle, and the camera crews would move around. It was all fake snow, of course. And that was really something to look at. The other fun bit about it was I had family down for his Christmas, and Uncle Bruce is working. So I had my relatives come over one day, and I walked around all of the sets so they could see all the stuff we were filming. I could not have done that if we were shooting, but nobody was home. So I got to walk them through. Yeah, I made a lot of brownie points then. When we actually wrapped, it was about 3 months we were there. It was delightful. Union wages and benefits and a 10-minute trip there and back. I don't think we ever worked weekends, but we had 12-hour days. That was normal. At the end of the show, we were literally wrapping and clearing out the area we had been working in for these months. It means everything had to go. Les Actor kept me on. Most of our crew managed to get a job over on toys at that time. They had a big crew. A lot of boss people were there. I wasn't invited to go, so I had really no job. And so Les very nicely kept me on for a week as he and I emptied the building. That was all of our equipment, the tools, the supplies, things are going into the trash. This is where I collected about 5 Xerox-sized boxes of balsa foam, which is going to be thrown away. And this stuff is really expensive. I'm still using it today in my dioramas. It's really awesome. I'm not even sure where I can buy it anymore. Stuff had to go somewhere. I brought a bunch of Star supplies, and I gave it to Greg Jean, stuff that he can use. He won't have to buy. So we sort of spread around all of the extras and kept whatever we wanted for ourselves. I've never actually emptied a shop like that. When we wrapped up, Gene talked his boss into, hey, Bruce is available. Why don't we have him come over and help out? So I ended up moving over to toys and had a magnificent time on that job.